Haven't talked in a while, and there's a bunch of stuff. By the way, people often forget that you and Warren Moon are the two greatest players in league history that had to start in the CFL. You played there and played well for 3 years because of negotiations with the Dolphins. I'm old enough to remember all that stuff, Joe. That's the only time I like being old.
Thank you. You know, there's something to be said about aging. I don't know how graceful we are at times aging, but there's something to be said about aging. But you're right. Warren and I spent a lot of time up there. He spent a lot more time actually in Canada than I did. Yep. And of course, another guy who didn't quite get to the championship level, but won a bunch of championships up there is Doug Flutie. Doug spent an awful lot of time up there as well.
So
we all got our start somewhere.
Let's start with this. Joe Gibbs is one of the great coaches of all time. We've talked a lot in the last couple of months about Aaron Rodgers having a say in personnel to some degree. Did Joe Gibbs ever go to Joe Theismann and think, Joe, what do you think about this receiver in the 4th round?
First of all, the answer is no. Secondly, if I didn't like a play, it didn't matter. I'd figure out how to run it. Right. It's a different time and a different age. And I said this a long time ago about Aaron's situation. It isn't that he wants to sit down and make the decisions. He would just like to be included in the conversation. I had a conversation with a really, really fine general manager, one of the best in the league. He's retired now. And I asked him, did you ever talk to your players? He said, absolutely. I get 4 or 5 of them in the room and the season was over. We'd sit down, we'd talk about the football team. Nobody knows the needs as well as a player. I mean, I understand management, they look at it, but players understand locker rooms. They understand what goes on the field. They understand the communication aspect of it. And just to have their input about what they see, I think is valuable when it comes to being able to help a football team add personnel and grow.
You know, it's interesting. I heard this week Carson Wentz. I think Nick Foles would work in Indianapolis, but I also know the background with Foles and Wentz. And somebody said to me this week, and I thought it was pretty smart, they said you can't be physically not capable of playing and then emotionally not always able to play because somebody's on the roster you don't like. And in Carson Wentz, should he be able to just go, hey, I'm not always available physically. Emotionally, I got to get through this thing and deal with Nick Foles. Is that asking too much?
Yeah, I think basically in Carson's, you don't worry about other people. You take care of yourself. We won a championship in '82, and I think they drafted Tom Flick, a quarterback, in the 2nd round.
Yeah,
and it's like I can't worry about what's behind me. I'm not a rear view mirror guy when it comes to playing ball or anything in life. I like to see what's out in front of me. I hope Carson can stay healthy enough to be able to compete. I think going to Indianapolis with Frank is a great thing for him mentally. I don't care if I'm Carson. I don't care who you bring in. Right now, I can't play. We're going to need somebody to start the season and then bring on whatever competition you want. I think that's the attitude. It's healthy for him. It's healthy for the football team. And that's where I hope he gets to.
You were in Super Bowls. I remember them well, 82 and 83 back-to-back. And, you know, Kansas City's now been to back-to-back Super Bowls. I think fans don't realize this. We just think Tom Brady's going to make it. It's like, time out. A lot of those Patriot teams did not go to the Super Bowl back-to-back. Take me to 82-83. Was 83 much harder than 82 to get there for you, Joe?
I think we were it's a tough question to say yes or no to, simply because, remember, in 82, we only played 12 games. It was a strike season.
Yeah.
We missed, I think, 7 games. So it was a shorter year. That's one of the things that we see now is we see that the strain on the players, how many people are available. I mean, you look at that Super Bowl with Kansas City, this last one against Tampa, both their tackles were gone. I mean, the guys are starters in this league for a reason, Colin. You know, you have 1s and 2s for a reason. If you're trying to play a team that has a lot of 1s and you've got a lot of 2s, it's going to be tough. And we saw that in the Kansas City game. The thing is, it's a long season. It wears on you. Their off season isn't as long as others. And there is a recuperation period. I think that what they need to do, and it's a different time and a different era, but they need to sit down and look at where their deficiencies were. I think one of the things that we noticed and nobody really talked about is the last 3 games that Kansas City played, they weren't stellar performances. They got there, but they struggled. They weren't the juggernaut they were going into the latter part of the season. And they need to get that back. And the other thing is, too, is, you know, Tariq is such a big part of what they do offensively. They need to find alternatives. Besides Kelsey, you need to find an alternative weapon so that if people want to take away Tariq, you have to make them pay so that you can take advantage of his great speed and his ability to stretch a field.
Okay, so I hear the Niners brass. They're all saying, boy, Garoppolo looks amazing. It's the best I've ever seen Garoppolo. And part of that, I think, is strategic because if they have to move him at some point. Let me ask you, if you ran a team, knowing his injury history, Joe, you lose your quarterback week 5. He's kind of expensive. Joe, would you roll the dice on Garoppolo in week 5 or 6 if you look at your roster and you think we can win games with a guy if he can play?
It depends on how long he's gone for. If I lose him early, is he gone for the season? Then you have to make an evaluation. I think this is a key year. More than completing passes, more than throwing touchdown passes, the most important thing for Jimmy this year is to play 17 football games. To be able to make yourself available. I tell guys all the time, young guys, I said, the most important thing you can be is on the field. Because if you're on the field, the coach can count on you. If you're on the field, you're learning. Every day you take a snap. I've had conversations with Tom Brady. I mean, Tom's 44 now. Tom's played 21 years in this league. He goes out to practice in Tampa Bay. He learned something today. I promise you that. That's the type of player that we have. And that's the type of individual that he is. I think in Jimmy's case, you just have to keep yourself available so that you can play football.
Boy, you look good, Joe. You're taking care of yourself. You look fantastic. By the way, you're doing something. You've always been a young thinker. You have a new NFT sports collectible thing you're doing. What are you launching here?
Yeah, we do. The NFTs are out. Matter of fact, they're out today. And what they are is they're live for purchase today. They're actually called playbooks. And what I've done is I've taken 4 plays that I basically had that I think defined a lot of my career. It was my touchdown pass against a touchdown pass I caught against USC in college, my record-breaking punt, which was 1 yard, the play that was made against Kim Bocamper in Super Bowl 17, and then my first punt return. See, I started my career as a punt returner in this league against the Giants. So I've had a chance to do a lot of different things, and we've captured them in the NFTs. And we did the voiceovers for it. I think Marcus Allen is doing it. Earl Campbell, I believe, is one that's doing it. Shannon Sharp is another one that's doing it. And they're available, like I say, today. And it's pretty exciting. I looked at a couple of them, and it's really neat what they can do with the imagery and the digital nature of creating these really collectibles. They're unique. Those 4 plays are very unique and really define my career in so many different ways. And I think that's what we all want to do, is make something special to us available to people that are interested in it.
Hey, one more question. When you were playing, these quarterbacks now, Joe, I mean, good God, they got quarterback gurus. They got quarterback camps. They throw 10,000 throws by the time they're 11 years old. And so I said with Tua and Daniel Jones, I'm going to make a decision by Thanksgiving. I'm not going to give you 4 years anymore. That's not the way the world is. We got a minute and a half left. How long, if you ran the Giants or the Dolphins, before Daniel and Tua, before you would just make a decision, maybe not publicly, but privately, we got to get a better quarterback?
I would give him the entire year. I wouldn't make a decision mid-season. Too many things factor into it. Colin, I've said this time and time again. The quarterback position is the single most dependent position on the field. If you lose some personnel, and again, I go back to Patrick in the Super Bowl. You lose your 2 tackles, you're going to run around, and you're limping a little bit anyway. So I would commit to both of them for the entire year this year. Let me see what you got. Then we'll go look at it after that, and we'll sit down and evaluate not only your position, but what either helped you or hurt you to be able to win football games for us.
Wait, I got a minute left. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I love your team and your coach. I don't get that decision at quarterback. Explain it to me.
You have to. I think the thing about Fitz is he sort of fills the role a little bit of what Alex did here, Alex Smith, when he was here with Taylor Heineke. He's a guy who has a chance to play. Steven Montez is another one that's out there. Kyle Allen, there are 3 other quarterbacks. Fitz has such a great presence in the locker room. He has a great presence on the field. I've been at training camp every day, except for one since it started. And he's learning an entirely new system. Now, you'd think if he played in 9 different teams, that he'd be a guy that knows what's going on. This is a little bit of a different system, and it's a learning process. But he brings such calm. And, one of the things, there's no question, what Washington wanted to do this year was be able to put the ball down the field. And it's something that Fitz does.
Yeah.
So what he does from a player standpoint, his personality fits this football team very well.
Great seeing you, Joe. You look fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Colin. Great being with you. Take care of yourself.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.